Morning, Nigel James, Argo Yachting, coming to you on a beautiful, crisp, sunny day in December in Palma de Mallorca. I wanted to take some time to walk you through some of the features on this Azimut Magellano 66. There are some great points to note on this area where we are now. Here we're on the Flybridge, and it's been laid out very clever for a boat. It's a 20-metre boat, we have to remember that. And there's a lot of space here. We have this aft deck area here, where we have room for 2 or 3 of the sunbeds or an occasional table and a few seats. We have an area forward which includes sunbathing, a large table to eat, and copious amounts of storage. We've got a great hardtop with the opening section, really giving you the best of both worlds. And if you look at these rail heights, super safe. And look at the size and you know, the chunkiness of the fittings and the rails. It's good quality stuff. Okay, so the helm, the Flybridge helm on this boat is nicely appointed. It's offset just slightly to the right of the rest of the accommodation on the deck, and it brings a very simple but very user-friendly layout with, you know, double screens, engine instrumentation, and a raft of switches and buttons here. Plenty of space for the driver and his navigator or friend. Everything is close at hand, everything is clearly in sight to see. It's comfortable, it's compact, it's got great visibility. It also sits in the midst of the rest of the people on the boat. We've got this lovely sort of sunbathing lounging area here at the front under the shade of the hardtop, and we've got a great seating area for dining on the port side just aft, and a well appointed bar, griddle, ice makers just immediately behind the helm. It's, you know, it's user friendly, it's easy, it's spacious, it's a good working area. The hardtop is a good size. It covers all of the seating area, but it does benefit also from this opening section, which does make a big difference, especially when you're trying to catch a few rays in a December day. Okay, it's hard to understand the spaces easily on a camera, so just walk with me along this deck so that you can get a sense of the space. We have to remember we're just 20 metres on this boat, yet this Flybridge delivers space that you'd probably expect to see in a 75-foot boat, 80-foot boat. Rail heights are super safe. The back area here is really left for your own design. It's a large area, uncluttered. You can add your bed, you can add your sunbeds, or you could put a more loungy type seating if you wanted to. But you've got 2 distinct areas. You've got the area under the hardtop. We've got nice seating for eating. We've got some lounging around the helmsman. We've got a great helm area and a bar between the two. It works really well. You know, there are simply masses of space here. I'm at the threshold between the undercover area and the open aft deck, and I still must have 4 or 5 metres between me and the aft rail. Huge beam here. Also, we benefit on the spec of this boat. There is it's a canvas sun top which comes out, extends all the way to the back of the boat. It's supported very well by 4 pretty substantial steel poles. It really is, yeah, it's got to be a fantastic place to spend a bit of time. The cockpit is long, so we've got a large table, easily good enough for 8 people. And it is offset from the rest of the space. And what I mean by that is that you could sit 8 people at that table and you've still got plenty of space for people to move across the boat, in and out of the saloon. It's nicely set back, and it leaves a lot of floor space still to be utilised. I know that this boat at the moment has a Williams 385 on it, and whilst that's not on the spec, I'm sure that's all part of the conversation of the sale. I've mentioned a few times the bulwark heights, and you know, I'm not the tallest guy in the world, but you know, this is a good height and it is super safe. This is a lovely feature. These side boarding gates, you're going to, you know, often find yourself on a quay for fuel or in some of the more out of the way marinas, and being able to walk through the bulwark and take a shorter step down onto the quay is really very comfortable. Just again pointing out this corner here, we've got the winch, we've got the cleat. This is a great height. If you're having to do any pushing or pulling, this is how you want it to be. It's spot on, it really is. Okay, so I'm standing here, just sort of absorbing this a bit really, because it's you know, I don't want to keep banging on about it, but this is a 20-meter boat we're on, and here I am standing in a separate wheelhouse galley combination. So we've got a door here, closes off the area completely, and there's a blind that covers this area for night use. It still leaves us this it's a great sized table. There's 6 seats there. We're sitting in front of the glass. We've got glass all the way around this saloon. It really does fill the space with light. And notice, you know, even though we've got the wheelhouse here and we can close it, it can be open and it gives a good sense of space through to the front of the boat. Nice lighting arrangements, good social seating across the boat, something I always like to see. TV pops up this side. We've got fridges, we've got wine coolers, we've got drinks units. You're not wanting for much in a space like this. It really is super. Just a small point to note, a little bit of Italian detail on the design. You know, a lovely little drink cabinet here with the glass and the bottle storage. We've got these opaque sections between the wood, so that when the door is closed of an evening, we're going to get a bit of light wash through there. It's a very nice touch to a very nicely appointed saloon. Okay, so here we are, more or less middle of this this deck. We have the accommodation staircase just here to my right. Just want to point out some of the detail. There's you know, typical Italian really. There's quite a lot of attention to detail and mixing textures and colours and types. You know, there's quite a lot of this sort of leather-clad furniture fronts, which is nice detailing. This material around the screens is, you know, super sensible actually, and has not shown any signs of any wear or tear at all. So there is quality in these materials. There's lovely stitching around the seating. There's inlays on the tabletop. It's nice, and everywhere you look, you know, somebody's thought about it. A few nice points down below as well in the cabins, and I'm just going to take you down there and point some of those out to you. So here we are in the owner's cabin. Just wanted to show you this space because it is just a nice space. It has to be said, I'm feeling rather at home here. I love this little desk. It's inlay, it's got a little drawer. It's right in the light of the porthole. I can just see myself at anchor there, looking at my iPad and checking a few emails maybe, or a bit of YouTube. All the cabins have got an opening port. Super important. If you're at anchor for a long time, you do want natural air and ventilation. It's an important thing to have. But then if you look at the cabin wider, you know, again, it's the Italian influence. We've got this nice mixture of materials, textures, leather tops, wooden finishes, nice little light. You'll see on the other parts of the video, it's got a fantastic bathroom here. Lovely walk-through area, super big showers, lots of elbow room. You know, this is a boat that's designed to spend time on board, and when you sit in this space and soak it up, you can see that it would actually be very nice to do that. Okay, so here we are at what I like to call the business end of the boat, really, and what a space it is. I mentioned earlier the fact that we've got a separate wheelhouse which we share with the galley, and it's super practical. So it's a great way of laying out any boat, I think. There's nothing really that you're going to feel that you're going to need to add to this boat. We've got big screens here. There are obviously dual function, plotters, radar, etc. We've got our thrusters. We've got joystick control. You know, it's a great asset on a boat like this. It really does make the operation of the boat easy, and for an amateur boater in particular, it really does take the sting out of the operation and bring a bit more joy to it, I think. We even got the addition here of a Yachtcontroller, which is a real luxury if you're putting it over and above the joystick, which we've already talked about. This enables you to use the boat at low revs and function the thrusters and the engines from anywhere on the boat. So you can be on the bow, you can be on the flybridge, you can be on the stern quarter. Anywhere where you need visibility, you can be. So if you're running this boat with limited crew, yourself and your family, for example, you can be where the action is, you can help with the lines, be there, talk about what's going on, not have to shout at anybody. It's great kit, and it shows that the person that's been using this boat has a good understanding of how to run it and how he wants to run it, and for ease of use, for pleasure. And you know, pleasure is what it's all about. So just moving up to the foredeck, you know, it's a very nice space. We've got these, so I mentioned earlier, the bulwark's very high, very secure, capped with a steel rail, nice chunky steel rail. And then we walk from the front of the boat into a seating area, U-shaped seating area in the middle of the boat. It's got a terrific size teak table, and it's got seating all the way around it. I mean, there has to be seating there for, you know, 8 or 10 people. You could breakfast there, you could snack there, or you could just slouch there and take in the day. You know, we've got a pair of Volvo D13 800s here, inline 6-cylinder diesels, and they are lost in the space, which means that your serviceability, your ease of maintenance and checks is just so simple and nice to do, and in those environments that sort of stuff tends to get done right and regularly. There's a Watermaker in the port aft corner. We've got tank, port and starboard. A boat like this, you'd expect it to have a combination pipe to bring the tanks together, but run them as separate tanks. I'm also seeing sight gauges on the tank, which is something you rarely see these days. And when all else fails, it's a very nice piece of comfort if you're trying to get the most out of the range. And let's face it, a boat like this is about range, and it is about cruisability. The owner had a mod done on these engines, something similar, I think, to a trawler valve type arrangement, which allows them to run at lower speeds but using higher revs. It's very good for the longevity of the engine to be able to do that. And again, it's a point that indicates to me that the owner, you know, I know the owner, I know his history, I know he knows a lot about boating, and he's done a lot of boating, and a lot of the aspects on this boat reflect that. The camera's actually sitting on top of a gyro, which is almost lost within this space. We've got some fantastic storage to port and starboard. And look at the beam here, the width between these engines. I'm perhaps not the slimmest person in the world, but there's a lot of space here. It's just fantastic. So, you know, the design of this boat clearly points in the direction of longer periods of time on board, doing greater distances of cruising. And when you study the boat in some detail, you know, that really has been achieved at many levels in a very nice way. We've got a terrific range. We've got a hull that is trying to step between a little bit of speed for when needs must, but for cruisability, comfort cruisability at slower speeds, something that's designed to be frugal and not burn so much fuel. And you know, this boat at 20 meters is able to give us about 900 nautical miles range. That's quite impressive for this package. So, you know, if you're after a family boat, extended times on board, perhaps some extended cruising distances, this is a boat you need to look at in some detail. And you know, I've tried to put across how good the condition is, how well appointed it is, but really you need to come and have a look. There are other ways at the moment we can help you with that. If you will visit our website, I've got the technical spec, which gives you the detail, the nuts and bolts of the specification of the boat. I've got a really good 3D tour, which will show you all of these nice spaces that we've got so many of. I've got lots of quality stills. It's all there, and you know, if you want to give me a call and have a chat, I'm happy to do that too. Please, when you visit us, do try and hit the subscribe button. There's lots of this sort of content on this and other boats there, and I'd love to keep you informed. Thanks, bye.